Lamont needs to drive 65 3/8 miles. After driving 28 1/2 miles, he stopped for gas. How many more miles does he need to drive? In this problem, there are two distances involved, 65 3/8 miles and 28 1/2 miles. Since distances are involved in this problem, let's draw a picture to illustrate how these distances are related to each other. Lamont needs to drive 65 3/8 miles total. 65 3/8 miles. He started out driving 28 1/2 miles. 28 1/2 miles. In this problem, we want to figure out how many more miles he had to drive to complete his trip. We want to find this distance here. Because we know the total distance that Lamont needs to drive, and we also know the part he drove before he stopped for gas, we're going to subtract the total minus the part we know to obtain the part that represents how far he still has to drive. So let's go ahead and do the subtraction. We'll take 65 3/8 minus 28 1/2 miles. In order to subtract, I need a common denominator here. And because this denominator, 2, goes into the other denominator, 8, I can use 8 as my common denominator. So 65 3/8, I'll just recopy as is. 28 1/2, I want to rewrite that as 28 and so many eighths. Now, to get a fraction with denominator 8, I need to multiply the original denominator 2 by 4. I also then multiply above by 4. 1 times 4 will give me 4 up above here. Now I'd like to subtract, but I cannot take 3/8 minus 4/8. I cannot take away 4/8 from the 3/8. It's larger than the fraction up above. To continue here, I want to borrow from my whole number 65 here to make my number of eighths larger. 65 3/8, let's just work this out on the side. 65 3/8, I can think of as 64 and 8/8 plus 3/8 more. What I did was I took the 65 and thought of it as 64 plus 1 whole more. And the 1 whole I'm writing as 8/8. The 65 3/8 then, which is 64 8/8 plus 3/8, can be written as 64 and 8 plus 3 is 11, 11/8. And that's what I'm going to use in my subtraction problem. 64 and 11/8. The 28 4/8 I'll just recopy. Now let's go ahead and do the subtraction. 11/8 minus 4/8, that I can do. 11 minus 4 is 7, so I have 7/8. 64 minus 28, I could borrow here. 6 becomes 5. The 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 8 is going to be 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. So I have 36 7/8. Now, what were we trying to figure out here? We were trying to figure out this distance. That's the amount of miles that Lamont still needs to drive. So that's, let's say, 36 7/8 miles still to be driven. Here's our answer.